Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this past week's trades and the weekly recap. Before I get into the video, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I did finish the week with 17 wins and 2 losses for a win rate of 89.47%. So I'm definitely pleased about that. Had a good week. I got over my 85% win rate target goal for the week, month, year, whatever. 85% is my goal overall. So I did get that, and I've been kind of like waiting out the first hour for the most part for the last month or so. There's been a lot of chop in the first half an hour, so I've been kind of avoiding the first half an hour to an hour because of that, but it's not as bad. It used to be daily. Now it's like once or twice a week, so it's definitely subsiding. It's not as constant as before. But the trade ideas room on Monday, the 1st September, I don't know why I just said September. SPY puts under 414.50, which is right here. Pre-market's up here. It said that when it was basically near lower day, so I just picked the 414.50 level because it was a pivot right here from Friday. So I used that. Didn't even get down there. It popped on the first green candle, then it had followed through the second green candle. I mean, I could have taken calls right there, but I still want to wait out the first half an hour or so just to see if that's gonna go back to rhythm again, if it's gonna start chopping again. So I just waited, and I almost took calls right here. I didn't take calls here. I waited, but I took calls right here when I got over to 416.60. 416.60, yeah, I took 41.75 calls at 8:20, and they went from 8:20 to 11:50 right there. So I got a nice little move right there. Then I took puts at 11:16, which is right here. It had a strong rejection at 417, and it flushed through VWAP. And when it broke below this 416 area, that's where I grabbed puts. I grabbed the, as you can see, the body of the candles right there, and there's a wick right here. So I grabbed them right through here. 416 was a good area to grab the puts. I grabbed the 41.70 puts at 710. And they went from 710 to 850 right there. So that was a nice little play. I didn't take it calls right here. Broke out right here. I was probably thinking I might have taken it in the challenge or IRA account. Like I said, I don't cover those in the recap, so I didn't take another one until 214, which is right here. Kind of like a bear flag, a bull flag going right here. But when it broke below this 416.65 area, that's when I switched to puts. Because I think I initially was looking at calls because of the bull flag, but when it broke below the 416.65 area, 60 area, I grabbed puts. I grabbed the 41.80 puts at 480. The news dropped. I don't remember what it was. Could have been another bank failure. And they went. I had the 41.80 puts at 480, and they went from 480 to 1480. So they went $10 just on that drop right there. Then I decided to grab calls at 345, which was right here. Caught lower day, it bounced, it came back down. It didn't. It broke lower day again. Then it bounced off that. So when it bounced, I grabbed calls right there. Then it just dropped and it didn't work out. So I had the 41.65 calls at $6, and it dropped. And I stopped out at 4. So it is what it is. I thought we were going to get a push right here. I mean, it failed to break lower day and it got bought. Broke lower day and it got bought. So I was like, okay, we're going to push, and it didn't. It just didn't happen. So it is what it is. Not much you can do. I had the right idea, but it just didn't have any follow through. And that's another thing that's been happening. the end of the day has just been choppy. It's been pinning. It hasn't been had any like insane runs or drops. It's just been literally hovering right around where the price is at that particular time. So sorry, I have to keep clearing my throat. I don't know why. I cannot do these videos anymore. They're hurting my throat all of a sudden, and just I don't know why. But anyways, yeah, I just pinned around end of day. So now on to Tuesday. This day just fell apart. I could have taken this, but I just wasn't sure. I mean, you just when the move actually happened, especially after a narrow range day, I didn't want to chase it because I waited out the first half an hour. I thought about taking puts right here, but to me, it's already dropped like $3, almost $3, and this was a $3 range. I mean, not even. No, it was a $2, almost, yeah, under $3 range right here, and this is already down almost $3. I did not want to chase it, so I felt like, okay, I'm just gonna ignore it. But kind of getting ahead of myself. Traded his room. I said SPY puts in a 414, which is right here. I know people in the room took it. I did not. Why did I pick 414? I think I just picked the next whole number. Yeah, I did. That's what I did. I picked the next whole number because, let's see, 414 was an area right over here too, right here. So yeah, it's basically why I picked it. Was over here, I think. Okay, so I waited out the first 30 minutes. Didn't want to take it. I mean, this happened. I didn't want to chase it, so I waited and waited. I bought calls at 11:01, which is right. No, not right there. Not there. I didn't buy it there. Right here. I bought it at 408. Why did I buy it there? 408. You get a little bit of resistance right there and support right here. So there's a pivot here at 4.8. So that's probably why I took it right there. And RCT trend line could have been down lower because it adjusts daily. So I almost want to think that the RCT trend line was down here, maybe lower at the 409 area. No, it couldn't have been lower. If anything, it would have been higher. No, so I think I just grabbed it at the 408 level based on the hourly. Oh, and I think also that, if I remember correctly now, that I think that the RSI was like in single digits on the 10-minute chart. So that's another reason why I probably grabbed it, was on that. I can't remember exactly why I grabbed it there, but I think it was the RSI at that particular time. I grabbed the 4110 calls of 640 right down here, and they went from 640 to 690. Not much of a move. Then I took puts at 1152, which was right here. You can see it made a new lower day, getting people to take puts, and it was a trap. They popped it a little bit because a lot of people are probably taking calls right here, me included, and that's why they took new lower day right here to take out stops before they pop it a little bit right there. Then it pulled back, and I grabbed puts right here at the 408.65 area, thinking, okay, we did get a little bit of a drop right there, but because we had this strong bounce, I still think that they like to push it again to the next lower day just to get more people stopped out. So I grabbed puts right there at the 40.95 puts at 940, and they went from 940 to 1030 right there. Not much of a puts play, but enough to get a nice decent play out of it. Then I switched to. No, I didn't switch to calls. I should have grabbed calls right there. I think I grabbed calls right there in the challenge or IRA account, because I remember taking this play right here, and I go back and forth with the accounts. So I took puts at what, 213, which is right here, right when it pushed through 4 through VWAP right in here. This is another thing that the market's been doing quite a bit is it does not been holding using VWAP as support and resistance. It's been once it gets there, it just pushes through violently. And when it got to VWAP, because it was above VWAP, we had this tail candle. I took puts right there. I took the 41.55, the 41.15 puts at 8.40, and they went from 8.40 to 10.30 right there. So did manage to get a nice little play out of that because it was above VWAP and it was coming down. They usually like to push it through, and it did push through, and then they did get bought up. So, and then when they bought it up, they made a big cup and handle. You get a cup and a handle right here. So I took calls at 248, which is right here, right when it broke over the 410.85 area. I took the 41.15 calls this time at 7.50, and they went from 7.50 to $10, and that push right there. So got a couple nice good plays. When you see stuff like this, don't go chase it. Just wait for a move to happen. Wait for a good setup. You don't need to trade every day. You don't need to trade every move. People just are too dire need to trade everything, and you don't need to do that. So just wait. And because I wasn't comfortable grabbing puts right here, and I didn't want to chase it. I mean, I could have chased it and done pretty good, but I really don't like when we have narrow range days previously, and then you have a big move the next day. You just get in that mindset of it. It could be a range day, it could be a trap, and it just ends up having a lot of follow through, and you're just like, okay, I just missed a big move, but it's part of trading. I mean, you're not going to get every big move. You're not going to get all the big plays. I mean, if we all knew which plays were going to be big, I mean, obviously we'd be playing them all the time, but we don't know that. And people are just, they always look at things after the fact and just think, oh, they could have done this. Yeah, you could have done that. Yeah, but you didn't. And it's in real time. You're going to make real time decisions based on the information you have. And to me, having a narrow range, less than $3 range on Monday, then it's already $3 in the first half an hour. I was not comfortable taking puts, so I just stayed out of it and waited, and that's what I did, and that's just the way I did. I know some people in the room chased it, and they made out, they did good, so good for them, but I would be careful doing that. This market is not like the market we've seen in a long time. It's very, very bipolar. It's kind of crazy. It's ignoring bad news and and it's running on good news. So it's very crazy. So I didn't have anything on Wednesday for Trade Ideas Room because it's FOMC. There's no point. I don't even bother. I just don't even stick around during the day, especially when Powell's speaking. SPX is way too expensive to even play before then, and it's not worth it. And you do get a little bit of moves, but because implied volatility is so high and SPX is so expensive that when you get moves like this, it doesn't really move that much. You might get $1 move versus because you have to play so far out of the money. If it wasn't FOMC day or Powell wasn't speaking, you could get close to at the money, and you can get a 100% move out of a play like this. But you're playing 50, 60, 70 points out of the money. A move like this, you're lucky to get 50 cents to $1. And to me, it's just not worth it. It's not worth the hassle. That's why I always tell everybody on FOMC day, take the morning off, enjoy it, because the afternoon will be crazy, and that's what you'll be focusing all your time on. So, so the FOMC play, they had a strangle play, 4,100 puts at 680 and 4,160 calls at 7. So the puts ended up going from 680 to 850. It did drop right there. And then it popped. So then the calls went from 7 to 12. So I think that what I did on this, I think I sold the calls immediately on the first. And then when the puts came in, it dropped. And I sold on the puts on the drop, not this first drop. So I kind of did it differently, but I also had a game plan for the week that if SPY was elevated through the week, that there was probably more likely going to dump, and that's why when it popped, I took the calls immediately, thinking, okay, were going to pop and drop. And that's the scenario I was thinking because of the way the SPY played out. If you watch the watch list, you know exactly what my game plan was for the week. So, and that worked out. So initially popped, I sold the calls and I sold the puts, and then it popped up. Then I took puts at 235, which is right here in this candle. No, 235, right here. No, I took him right in here. 235 right here. Right when it got through, no, right underneath 411. That's where I grabbed it. I remember this now. I grabbed the 4100 puts at 610 and 1020. I know. Sorry. I grabbed the 4100 puts at 610, and they went from 610 to 1020, and that drop right there. This was just crazy, crazy action. Just very, very whipsaw. Red, green, high day, low day, high day, low day. I mean, this was just crazy to trade. Usually you'll have like a pop up, then it will just flush, but it just literally whipsawed for like 2 hours. I mean, an hour right here. So it was kind of crazy, but we had the FOMC played out really well. We got the puts play really well right here. We got that. Then I switched to calls right when it got that 413. I don't know if I took it at 413 or 413.50. I won't think I took it at 413.50. I took calls. I took the 4160 calls at $7. Then it dumped, and it just keeps getting bought at this 410.50. And at this time, Powell was speaking, and the market was hinging on every single word, and the market was liking it. But every time someone was asking about the debt ceiling or the banks or something like that, the market just would drop. The banks were in bad shape, it would drop, then it pop about something else, then they'd bring up the debt ceiling, then it would drop again. It was just, the market was literally hinging on every single word, and it's just, when the market is doing that, it's impossible to trade this or impossible to do anything, because one word, the market's going to do a 180 on you, and you cannot do anything about that. So I took a calls loss right there, and I was just like, okay, whatever, I'm done. And I think I did manage to get some plays down here in the IRA or challenge account. I don't remember, but this 410, I was just very surprised that when it dumped right here, that 410 got bought. We went to higher day, 410 it got bought, it came back down, then it just flushed through. But it is what it is. It's just very hard to trade FOMC when it's whipsawing like that. I mean, normally you don't see that, so it was kind of crazy. I was not a fan of the Powell speech and the questions and stuff like that. It was just too back and forth instead of just one way. And by the time it made its direction, it was already past 3 o'clock. It was the last hour of the day. So I could have probably played that better, but it is what it is. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. So now on Thursday, trade ideas room SPY puts under 406, which is right here, lower day, lower pre-market low. It's consolidating up here. I could have taken puts right here. 10-minute candle, red. Could have taken puts right there. Would have worked out. Now it did chop. Yeah, so you got continuation right there. We got continuation. Well, it chopped a little bit, but we got continuation though eventually. So, but yeah, we're kind of going back to the market where it's doing its continuation. So we might have to start looking at that next week. But let's see. I took puts at 1016, which is right here. Red candle, candle continuation, green candle. Let's try to bounce up the VWAP, rejected VWAP, rejection again and again. Then when it got below the 405 area, that's where I grabbed the 45 puts at $8, and they went from $8 to $11.60. So got a nice little play there. Then I switched to calls at 1055, which is probably right here. No, right here. Yeah, right here. You can see it had a strong green candle right here. Pull back a little bit, then I didn't want to chase it right here, so I bought the pullback, took a chance, and grabbed the 40.75 calls at 7.40, and they went from 7.40 to $11 right there. And this is what I'm talking about. I mean, it did go through VWAP, but it rejected and rejected VWAP again. Then it had a strong push through it again. This is what it's been doing. I don't really pay much attention to the indicators the first hour, because the first hour of the trading day is where most of the crazy action happens. And that's where it tends to ignore indicators, even though right here it looks like it respected it, which it did. But normally I would not touch that, a push through VWAP or anything, not the first 10 minutes of the day. I mean, hour of the day. Now, as it gets later on through the day, yes, I will, because you see this all the time. Push through VWAP, pull back and push through. Did it right here again too. Flush through VWAP. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. It doesn't really do this anymore. It just drills right through VWAP, up or down. So it's been doing that for a while, and so, you know, play it, and I'm going to keep playing it until it stops working. The market's always evolving. You need to evolve with it or get left behind. So yeah, the calls I took there, 470 to 40.75 calls from 7.40 to $11. So got a nice play right there. Then I took calls again at 12.56, which is right here. I didn't grab it right here. I grabbed it right here. Push the VWAP, pull back a little bit. Once it got over the 405.50 area, or even say 405.45, that's where I grabbed the 40.65 calls at 8.40, and then went from 8.40 to 18.50. Got a nice move out of that. Rejecting higher day. Then I grabbed puts at 3.15, which is right. 3.15? Way over here. 3.15. Right here. Let's see, grabbed them, so I must have grabbed it right here underneath. I'm not sure exactly where I grabbed it. I'm sure if I go down to a smaller time frame, I can probably 3.15. Let's see, where's 3.15? Right here. I grabbed it right in here. Yeah, I grabbed it probably right when it got underneath 404.80. I got the 40.60 puts at 570 to 670 right there. So that's where I got that. I just couldn't really see it on the 10-minute. I do not look at the 3-minute chart. I just do that so you guys can see it better. Oops. Back up. So yeah, I got it right in here. No, right in here. Got that little bit of a play right there. Then I switched to calls at 3.36, which is probably right here. As you can see, pushed through VWAP, it dumped through VWAP, it didn't break this area, I kind of got bought up again, it came through VWAP again, but once it broke over these body candles right here, 405.85, that's where I grabbed the calls, grabbed the 40.65 calls at 610, and they went from 610 to $9 right there. So had 5 nice solid plays on the day on Thursday, so definitely had a good Thursday. Now Friday, didn't take that many trades. Let's see, traded his room SPY calls over 409.50, which is right here. Why'd I pick that number? 405.50. Not quite sure why I picked that. I think that might have been just I think that might have been RCT trend line might have been up there, but I think so. I think it was. Maybe it wasn't. It was close. It was in the area. Yeah, 409. Yeah, it was right there, 409.50. But, you know, that's another thing, is that I used to use RCT trendline as like a resistance and support, but lately that's been getting steamrolled through too. It doesn't even act as resistance anymore. A lot of the indicators I usually use for support and resistance have not been doing so, but I'm sure it's just a something temporary that's just gonna what works now is not gonna work tomorrow. Then it will work again down the road. But right now, it had the green candle, and of course, toss us to melt and screw up. Okay, toss managed to crash right in the middle of me doing this. So now that I get back online, yeah, so the RCT trend line was right there, and like I was saying, that SPY has just been ignoring indicators and going right through them like nothing. So I don't usually use them as support and resistance anymore for now until they start respecting them again. I'll start using them for steamrolling through. We had a nice green candle right there, so we had continuation all week long. So maybe Monday I'll go back to my 10-minute ORB and see how that does this week. And if it starts not to work again, I'll just start waiting out the first half an hour again. I mean, like I said, the market's always evolving. You got to evolve with it. So I did not take any of this. Should have, though, but anyways, I didn't. Plus, with the all the banks are failing, and Apple beats ER. That's just kind of ridiculous that the banks are failing, and SPY is ignoring it and going up because Apple beats earnings. And I know I posted a meme saying, yeah, we don't care if the banks fail as long as Apple beats earnings. That's all we care about. It's so stupid. I really can't stand stuff like that. It's kind of stupid, but anyways, the market doesn't care what I like. It's going to do what I want. So you either go for the ride or get run over. So I grabbed puts, 1109, which is right here. As you can see, made new high a day, came back down. Get these candles right here and here. Came back down. It's a body candle right there. So I took it right at 1109, which is right when it broke below this 410.80 area. Got a little bit of a play right there. Grabbed the 41.15 puts at 740, and then it was 740 at $8. Really not much there. Just chop. This is chop and chase day. Then I took calls at 111 now. That was right here. This is that 410 level that's been a pain in the butt for weeks. Resistance, support, flush through, support, flush through, support. It's just, then it flushed through FOMC, and it's just, it respects it when it wants to, and it doesn't when it doesn't want to. So this is that pesky little area I don't like, but I really thought it was going to break this area right here, at least come down the VWAP at least, or even the 20 EMA, and it didn't. It just got bought up, and then it came back down. So when it got underneath VWAP and underneath the 410.50 and got bought, it came back up to the 411.40 area. I grabbed calls. I grabbed the 41.25 calls at 550, and they went from 550 to 550 to 790 right there. That little push up right there. And then I took puts at 338, which is right here. I didn't take it here. I thought about it, but I was not expecting this kind of a move right there. I mean, I was thinking about puts right here a little bit. I think I might even mentioned that I would take it underneath the 411.65 area, but I didn't get there. It pushed more and it had this ridiculous push. This is the thing with SPY, is every time you think it's done, it's exhausted, it just ramps up. And right here, I thought it was going to do the same thing. Had a tail candle, always likes to mislead people. I came down, had a red candle, and I thought, okay, it's gonna bounce right here and come up to higher day. I think that I was even looking at higher day calls up here. I don't remember, to be honest, but I didn't get up there. So when it came back down below, I used the tail of this candle. Remember this, if it gets under 412.70, I would take puts. And it did. I got the 41.40 puts at 340, and they went from 340 to 550 right there. So we got a little bit of a move. I really thought we were going to push more because the weekly candle would have turned green if it was above 415 something. I don't remember what the exact number was. But I thought for sure, after this kind of run, after the bank's failing and Apple beating earnings, why not just finish green at this point? But it didn't. It pulled back. So I was watching both areas of the 412.70 and the 413.50, but didn't make it up there. It broke this area, so I took it. So we got a nice little move right there. So we had a decent Friday. I just don't like trading against, I know the trend is up. I don't like trading against, what's going on in the world, but sometimes you just got to ignore the noise and just trade what the chart gives you, and that's what I did right here. Was flagging right there as getting bought at 410.50, and that's why I had to ignore the banks failing and just take what the chart says, because SPY just does not care about things happening in the world. It just does what it wants to do, and sometimes you just need a reminder that to ignore everything. But one of these days, SPY is going to react heavily on these banks failing and other things, because there's more banks failing now and than they were in 2008. So, but anyways, that's going to do it for the recap. It was a difficult recap between my voice hurting and toss crashing. So kind of a rough recap. So I'm sorry about that. But anyways, that's going to do it. Thanks for watching.